Istanbul is uniquely placed between Europe and Asia, with the Bosphorus Strait parting through as a boundary between the two continents. This autumn, I took a trip to this bustling city with plenty to offer, and I found an oasis of calm at the venues of the Istanbul Biennale. Saltwater as a theme of this year's Biennale suggests restorative properties, cleansing, nourishing, and of course, healing. I took a ferry to Princess Island, where I interviewed director of the exhibition at the historic Splendid Palace Hotel.
I'm Bige Örer. I'm the director of the Istanbul Biennial. We are organizing the 14th edition of the Istanbul Biennial this year, which is drafted by Caroline Christoph-Bakardziyev. It's an exhibition, which is spanning across the city, and it's a large-scale international exhibition. We have more than 80 participants. The drafter of the exhibition, Caroline Christoph-Bakardziyev, has come up with a concept, saltwater ethereal on thought forms, and she invited some contemporary artists who are going to produce new works together with some physicists, mathematicians, and authors, scientists, oceanographers. So it's not an exhibition only of contemporary art. It is an exhibition which is also bringing together different disciplines and showing that art is not separable from the other parts of life. We really believe in the independence of the curator and the artist. It's also very interesting for people to experience the city through the different locations of the biennial, and so we are totally flexible with every edition of the biennial. We work in different spaces, different locations, and so I think that's how the Istanbul Biennial became successful in a way in what we're trying to achieve.
A lot of works are quite political, even in a subtlest way. Can you talk a bit more in depth about that?
Yeah. In this exhibition we are talking about waves. Saltwater has a lot of references to the sea, to the waves, and waves of history, waves of communication. Are, of course, traumatic moments in the history of societies, and we are trying to ask once again the question if art can play a transformative role in dealing with this trauma, and how art can maybe have a healing effect, for these traumatic events in the histories. And it's not only about the let's say the political events, but the main idea is to make it abstract, or to make it to deal with these issues in a more subtle way, and so to make it more in a way more visible. We have a catalog which is very, I think, important part of the exhibition process, and it includes some articles written by me, by Caroline, and by some curators, artists, and scientists. And then we have an anthology section where artists have chosen a text that they like, which were inspiring for them.
How do you find the young emerging artists? What platform do you find them on?
We do studio visits, and we also follow university exhibitions, and also some artist friends introduce their. So it's about also by our networks that we're able to reach also younger artists. We have around 16, 17 artists from Turkey, which represent a wide, scale, let's say, of different generations. There are established artists from Turkey, like Füsun Onur and Sarkis, and there are also some up-and-coming artists like Cansu Çakar, Merve Kılıçer, who are really young and who, for the first time, they are participating in such a big exhibition. There are collectives like artık işler, or artists working also with other artists like Pelintan together with Anton Vidok. There are artists who have maybe, let's say, who have done a lot of exhibitions in the international scale and who are able to present also their works in to a larger audience in Istanbul, like Bige Örer and Emre Hüner, Aslı Çavuşoğlu, and many more artists.
And do you make comparisons between the others in the other cities, like Venice and etc.?
I mean, not with other cities, but we make comparisons with also with previous editions of the biennial, or what we want to do in the future, because every biennial is being realized in a different context with different funding structure. So it's not like a competition that we should look into, let's say, other cities, but it's more to, of course, to understand what's happening in the international art world, and to share the practices and to share the experiences. It's very important. So that's why we also set up the International Biennial Association, where I'm the vice president, and our aim is to build up some collective actions together with other biennials in the world.
How do you measure the success of this exhibition?
There are different, of course, criteria as you can imagine. For me, one of the most important criteria is if the artists are happy, with the works that they do and with the space, that they present their works. And I can say that artists who participated in this biennial were really happy to be a part of it. They were really honored, and they really were inspired by the city. And then of course how the biennial is being accessible to people is very important. And as you may have also seen while visiting different locations of the biennial, there is a lot of attention from the local and international scene, and people are really spending at least a couple of days to see the biennial, and it's really nice because it's not only a small circle of contemporary art, but it's also like a wider audience. In the Istanbul Biennalis, we are trying to represent the whole artistic scene in different continents, different countries. Of course, it's very important to not only to show the art from Europe or from the States, the Western art, but also to show what is happening also like in Asia, in Africa, in Latin America, in the Middle East. And I think for the audience of Istanbul Biennale, it's very important this aspect. People are reacting very well to it, and they are also willing to see like a diversity of artistic expressions from all over the world.
The exhibitions continue until the 26th November at Istanbul Modern.